What's up, Tipsy Travelers? Just wanted to make this kind of impromptu video to thank you all for 2,000 subscribers. It's absolutely amazing. Sarah and me are completely shocked. Sarah definitely wishes she could be here for the video. She works, I'm remote, so I just wanted to, make this video to just thank you all. It really means a lot. And for context as well, when Sarah and I first kind of created a YouTube channel, we obviously had no intention of it being for getting subscribers. It was really just kind of like a spot to archive things. Early on when Sarah and I started dating, I think we both early on kind of knew we were the person for the other, and so I bought the DJI vlogging camera that everybody gets because we had a lot of trips in store, and I really just wanted to document it, knowing that hopefully one day we're blessed to have a family, and when we're old we have a spot that's going to live on hopefully forever, and really just kind of hub all of our travels together, allow our family to kind of see these spots, maybe inspire our future family to go to some of these spots. So that was the real kind of reason for the creation of the channel, the reason why we did what we did. So we're honestly shocked sometimes when we make a video and it gets like a couple hundred views. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got a couple hundred views. So again, we're small-time YouTubers, but it really does mean a lot to us, and it really helps us kind of evaluate what we want to do moving forward. And so I kind of want to share that stuff for you because Sarah and I, early on, our fourth date was actually to New York City. So that's something that's kind of always bonded us, is this want to explore, this willingness to explore, to not stay in one spot, to really just soak up as much as this life really has to offer. That's been Sarah and my goal together since we met. And it's honestly funny. I wish sometimes that Sarah and I were able to, or were vlogging back for our fourth date, because it was pretty awesome. We were in New York around Christmas time. We started this channel really as just a focus of kind of documenting these spots from an architecture standpoint, from a food and drink, I guess, to an extent as well. But the more we kind of thought about who our favorite YouTubers were, Adam the Woo, who, obviously we're heartbroken about him. And, we watched A Ceremony of Life a couple weeks ago, and definitely one of the messages that resonated with us is, life is short. Don't try to replicate other people. Do your own thing, be your own person, and let that really kind of shine through. And so that was a big kind of moment for us to really say, let's give more of us, as well as our travels. Why do we like these things? Why is it worth exploring, in our opinion? There really is such a good community. And again, the more we watch, I swear, more YouTube than Netflix or anything else. So, these guys like Justin Scard and Ordinary Adventures, Magic Journey, Fresh Baked, and even the non-Disney people like, Simon Wilson, they've been kind of a big inspiration for us. So Sarah works in hospitality, and I'm the director for a marketing firm. And so I just love merch. And again, we don't take our channel too seriously, but I did want to create something. And part of the thought process there is the more like themed events we go to, maybe having some of our own Tipsy Traveler merch that's kind of themed around some of the places that we're going. So I guess, what does our 2026 outlook look like? What are we getting into? Why are we getting into it? So what's going on for us? Well, in 2 weeks, like I said, my wife Sarah works in hospitality, so she has an event in Chicago, and so I am joining her. Sarah has never been to Chicago. I've been a couple times, have a whole bunch of friends in the Midwest. I'm actually going to reach out to a few of them. I would love for them to join the vlog because they're great people. They're theater nerds. So one thing about me as well is, again, when we started the vlog, I had bought that DJI camera, and so some of the early videos I'm still trying to figure it out because I didn't know the screen at created vertical alignment, and if you flip it, that's horizontal. I mean, you would think so, right? And you're probably thinking, how'd this guy go to film school? So I was actually, for the longest time, just really actor or focused on the behind the camera in the realm of writing and directing. And again, you're probably thinking, well, that's why you have a YouTube channel, right? But I liked acting when I could, or being in front of the camera when I could be someone else, and again, kind of escape myself. My uncle went to the same film school as me, San Diego State, and he had a cool, really awesome career in Hollywood, and he's honestly the best photographer. He was the best photographer, just camera guy I've ever met. So it was kind of intimidating to hold a camera, even though I love photography. I love video work. Without further ado, let's dive into travel. So Chicago, hopefully would love to meet up with some of my friends from film school and theater school that now live in Chicago, and they're actors. I think they have their own theater company. So definitely want to meet up with them if possible. But what are Sarah and I getting into? So Sarah and I are going to be staying at the Hilton Chicago, as well as the London House, which is also a Hilton hotel. And so that's going to be really beautiful. I think they have a nice rooftop bar at the London House, which Sarah loves her rooftop spot. So I'm sure we're going to soak that in. And then we're big Harry Potter fans. And so one thing we obviously have to do is go to, I think there's only one other location for this Harry Potter type store, and it's in New York, but the other one is in Chicago. And so we are going to go to the Harry Potter store. I'm going to get a whole bunch of merch, and I need to get a whole bunch of new Ravenclaw merch because we have other stuff that I'm going to tease in here. That is the reason why I need this merch. I think a bug just flew on me. Before I get to the reason why we need, or I need, new Ravenclaw merch, I want to point out that Sarah, I think, is a Hufflepuff. That's what she's always told me, but I don't think she accurately took the test, and it's been a while. So, and I have the feeling that she is a Ravenclaw. So I think prior to leaving Chicago, we should retest her, because I would love to get her some Ravenclaw merch at the Harry Potter store. So what else are we doing in Chicago? Because we got a lot to squeeze in. We're gonna check out, apparently there's like a 5-story Starbucks that also serves alcoholic beverages. So really excited for the Starbucks that's 5 stories tall apparently. And then we are going to do I've seen a game at Wrigley Field. Unfortunately, the Cubs won't be in town, but they do offer on off days the ability to do tours where you can tour the field, tour the dugout, locker room. And I'm a Yankee fan, but I'll admit, Rookie of the Year was one of my favorite movies as a kid. So I'm gonna have a lot of Henry Rowan Gardner moments, maybe some Daniel Stern moments where I'll try and get myself locked in the clubhouse or something. So, and obviously Harry Carey, maybe I'll get up to the press box and sing. It's gonna be fun to do that tour. Again, I saw a game maybe like 15 years ago there, but never got to really do a field tour. So we are going the week of Easter. And so I am Catholic. And again, one thing that I want to reference that Justin Scard mentions a lot that I think is very relevant is that he tries to avoid topics of religion, politics, sex on his channel. I think that's really kind of a good baseline, and a good baseline for us as well, that we really think that there's a lot more that unites us as people than divides us. And that's really kind of our mission, is to be inclusive to everybody. And you know, obviously my faith and my belief is very important to me, but that's very personal. And you know, I believe we're all kind of, you know, we're all kind of the same, right? And so the reason why I bring that up is since it's going to be Easter, and obviously it's important to me, we will be visiting a couple of the beautiful cathedrals in Chicago, and there are definitely there's a lot to choose from. So we're going to go to a few of them. And the one thing I'll say about cathedrals, because Sarah and I have seen a lot, even if you're not religious, go to a cathedral, soak it in for the architecture and the history, because it is just awe-inspiring to know that some of these buildings were maybe started being built in like the 1200s and didn't finish to maybe the 1700s or something like that. And you sit there and you think that, it took 7 or 8 family generations in that town to build that cathedral. And oftentimes in Europe, that cathedral is the top point of any spot in the whole city. That's changed in some spots, but in some spots that still holds true. I think that's really neat that, again, it's such a centerpiece of the town, and you look back and a lot of people are like, yeah, you know, my great grandpa all the way to, you know, 6 generations before that all worked on this cathedral. And so it is just a staple of history, a staple of the town. And so for us, anytime we go somewhere historical, we love to see the beautiful cathedrals. So definitely recommend that. Dinner wise, we got a lot of, like, you know, cool rooftop bars, stuff like that. But we also are going to a spot called RH Chicago, which we've been to the RH in Yountville, like the Napa area. It was wonderful. Sarah went there as well one time and saw Lionel Richie, which I'm incredibly jealous of. But we will be doing RH for dinner. We got quite a few other things lined up as well while we're in Chicago. We're gonna do the architecture tour, I believe, with the company called Shoreline. So the next thing we have lined up, a little bit after we get back, a couple months break, we're going to be headed to MidSummer Scream. Sarah's a huge horror fan, as I'm sure you guys know. You know, I have a friend who's a pretty big vlogger and podcaster in the movie genre and definitely dives into horror a lot. And he just said, you know, hey, are you going to apply for media passes? And I'm like, you know, we don't take ourselves that seriously. And I kind of tried to, you know, talk my way out of it, kind of. And he said, you know what, dude, just do it. He said, you'd be surprised who they give media passes to. It's kind of a little bit of everybody. And even if they say no, who cares? And that really resonated with me, that I want to do a lot more of challenging myself on these things, that who cares if they say no, right? Like, they're going to say no if you don't do anything at all because you didn't put yourself out there. And so I think that's maybe a good way of kind of looking at, you know, some of the goals for us this year is to just be more open to life and not fear rejection, right? So we're going to apply for media passes. We'll definitely keep you guys posted if that is a success. Either way, we're probably going to splurge for some VIP because, again, Sarah loves horror. And, you know, for me, the number one thing I'm excited about with MidSummer Scream is Matthew Lillard's going to be there. And again, horror is not my favorite genre. The reason why I'm so excited to see Matthew Lillard is because of Hackers and all the movies that he did with Freddie Prinze Jr. I'm a huge fan of. So, you know, Summer Catch, She's All That, Scooby-Doo. You know, for me, I'm actually probably going to try and buy like a Chatham A's hat from Summer Catch and see if Matthew Lillard, I will stand in a 3-hour line for Matthew Lillard. So, and Quentin Tarantino is my favorite director, and I will say that what he said about Matthew Lillard was completely out of pocket in every way. Matthew Lillard is a wonderful actor. I'm a huge fan of his work. So again, I would be thrilled if I'm able to meet Matthew Lillard. That's my big goal. So stick around for that video to see if I meet Matthew Lillard. MidSummer is obviously going to be a really good kind of opportunity to see what's in line for Hollywood Horror Nights and really prep for that, because that's what Sarah and I are doing kind of for our 1-year wedding anniversary. It'll be like right before our wedding anniversary. And so we're going to treat ourselves to Hollywood Horror Nights. We had to take last year off because we got married. So we did make a video on the time before that, the weekend themed Hollywood Horror Nights, where if you guys watch that video, I had a weekend-inspired drink that the syringe had like some kind of red jello that didn't shoot out, and it just exploded all over me. So if you want a good laugh, you can go back and watch that Hollywood Horror Night video. So MidSummer is going to be really good prep for us in late September, early October to head to Hollywood Horror Nights. Really excited for that. And then obviously with the Fast and the Furious ride coming out, it's just going to be kind of a really good opportunity to see the updates of Universal, as well as one thing that we don't typically do that we're doing this trip is we're going to squeeze in DCA and Disney. So, and then that takes us into November, which is my 40th birthday, and I'm not huge on celebrating my birthday, but Sarah convinced me, and she said, you know, these are the big years that you really gotta, you know, we really gotta celebrate, and she's right. And so we kind of went back and forth, you know, do we do another cruise because we had a blast on the cruise? You know, do we go to Europe somewhere, or do we go somewhere else, which typically would be like some kind of Disney thing, right? And as much as I love going to Europe, part of me always knows if we go to Europe, I'm going to selfishly want to stop in Munich because it feels like home. It's where my ancestors come from. So yeah, I always want to go back. But I thought, you know what, we have to do something new. And so Sarah and I really agreed that what would be a really awesome birthday that we both are kind of accomplishing something new for us would be to go to Epic Universe, Universal Studios, Disney World, so Magic Kingdom and EPCOT, and likely Hollywood Studios. And again, we don't want to get political on the why, but we're not really big on the Animal Kingdom type of things. Again, absolutely no shade on the people there. We know they try their best in terms of their treatment of animals, but again, we don't want to dive into it too much, but it's just probably going to be a no from us there. And we're going to have plenty of stuff to do anyway. So really where we're excited is, you know, wear that new Ravenclaw merch and go out and see Epic Universe, Universal Studios. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. And then from an Epcot standpoint, I'm probably going to, because it's my birthday and I'll use that as an excuse, I will probably be wearing my lederhosen as we explore Little Bavaria or whatever they call it there. So I'm super excited for Epcot. Huge Tron fan, so the Tron ride. One thing that Sarah and I do a lot is we like to plan out these really, really large trips and have a general idea of, okay, this is how our year is going to more or less shake out. But then we end up doing this thing where we'll say, okay, we got this month, and then we have like kind of a month and a half, 2-month gap. And because of where we live, you know, as I've walked and done this kind of like walk and talk vlog, you can see we're in a really kind of beautiful spot in Northern California, kind of between it all, which is nice. And so what we like to do is pick spots, you know, okay, well, let's do a weekend trip since we don't have anything really big lined up for 2 months. Let's, you know, shoot on over to Napa or Tahoe or Apple Hill, or we got a lot of great spots around here. So we'll likely fill in some of the big gaps with something fun within a couple hour drive of here. Again, really sincerely, thank you guys for 2,000 subscribers. It really, I mean, it means a lot to Sarah and me. And, you know, as we get going, if there's any type of videos that you guys are interested in, definitely let us know. Like, we read all the comments, and, you know, we try to accommodate some of the requests, and we love kind of the engagement. You know, a while back on one of our Disney videos, someone asked, hey, do you have all the raw footage of Indiana Jones? I've never ridden the Indiana Jones ride. I just kind of want to see it from start to finish. And I was like, no problem. It's not the conventional type of videos that Sarah and I create, but this, again, we want to help people with their experiences as well. And so it's such a nice community. And so I think the more that Sarah and I do this, we want to have that kind of back and forth with you guys, that there's things you guys want to see at places, if there's recommendations that you guys have for us on the places that we're going, we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear your recommendations. We want to hear the things that you really want to see, and we'll absolutely be listening if nothing else, but we'll always try to accommodate where we can. So again, guys, really appreciate the support over the last year and a half of doing this. Until next time, we'll see you in Chicago. Mia San Mia.